So hello and welcome to another How to Become a TV Presenter podcast. We're videoing this one as well. So again, this is like a video cast thingy. And joining me today is BAFTA winning director.
Sorry.
Yes. Helen Sheppard, who's worked for BBC, Amazon, various production companies, including ITV and goodness, pretty much everything. So a massive amount of experience in the industry. Over the years.
Careful how many years.
Just a few.
Yep.
So it's great to have you here. Thank you for coming in and doing the How to Become a TV Presenter podcast, which is super. So first of all, then, how's television industry changed? Do you think over the last sort of couple of years? Well, not a couple of years.
Couple of years or years?
Years.
I mean, I would say how television has changed over the years is that there used to be a time when if you wanted to be a presenter, there was a very specific type of person you needed to be. Sort of quite young, I guess, quite well spoken. And I think that is the biggest thing that has changed. I think as a presenter now, you can come from any background, you can be any age. And I think they're very interested in people who have a particular skill or knowledge and using those types of people. Thankfully, I think television hopefully is reflecting more the kinds of people that actually exist.
And are watching
rather than a kind of ideal model of how.
Because I remember when I first started, and again it was 30 years ago or something like that. It was if you sort of had a semi-posh accent and RP, it was kind of like, oh right, well, it used to be on television. Whereas, and that was great for me because I do have a semi-posh accent and I am RP, so I thought, oh, well, I'll do that then. It's better than working in a bank. But yeah, I think it's important now. And just going on from that, it really is a skill or knowledge or a niche you have, but also your personality, being a personality or having a personality you're not afraid to show.
Absolutely. The more you're true to yourself, the more you don't try and pretend to be someone else, I think the better chance you have of getting onto television and presenting. Yeah. Rather than trying to be this fake persona. I mean, it used to be the thing that you couldn't even have an accent. Well, now an accent is positively embraced, in terms of presenting.
And the I've forgotten what I was going to say now. It was the regional accents. They are very much in now, as you say. And what else was I going to say? I've completely forgotten what I was going to say.
Well, particularly, say you come from Scotland, you don't just want to be hearing posh people all the time. You want to be hearing Scottish accents. You want to hear Northern accents, Welsh accents. Yeah. And so they're trying. I think all programmes are trying to be more diverse, reflecting the population of the country and the interests.
Do you think as well? Actually, do you think sometimes it is an advantage? Is there any of that? I can't remember the phrase for it. It's like reverse biased. It's like we need to show that we have diverse cultures on television that represent the population, quite rightly too. But sometimes does it get to the case that actually, if you are from that minority, whatever that might be, that's actually can be an advantage in a way sometimes? Or do you think, actually, no, if you still have got that RP accent and are posh, you've got just as much chance as anybody else?
I think there is an advantage if you have some special cultural difference or... partly because I think we do need to have, is reverse bias the right way? We do need to have that to redress the balance of what has been going on over the past years.
So until that balance is actually balanced out, there might be
I think there is an advantage, and I personally feel possibly should be a little bit. I mean, I come particularly from an area in children's where I would say we have generally always had to show children from a wide variety of cultures and interests all the time, because that's been very important. I think just as behind the scenes we need to reflect the community as a whole better, we have got to do that in front of the camera too.
Yeah. So it's opportunities for everybody that's out there. So we were working with some presenters today, weren't we? And I did say to them
great bunch.
They were a great bunch. That you're a BAFTA winning director. And I also pointed out, Helen, that when we first met, that you hadn't won a BAFTA, and actually working with me over the years, you've now finally achieved that goal. So congratulations.
Yes. Brian has been a great influence to me over the years, and that has helped me.
Yes, of course it has. But not so much on the presenting side. Maybe because a lot of people listening will probably have ideas. Not necessarily. They might want to be presenting it as well, but they might have an idea for a show, whether it be children's, whether it be anything. I don't know, off the top of my head, UFOs over Oxfordshire. But if they've got a great idea that they believe in,
yes.
What's the first step? What should they do? Is there a place at the BBC anyway that accept ideas, or?
There are several ways to do this. There is a writer's room, and I think that's more, it could be possibly more for if you've got a drama in your mind, and everything that's sent into the writer's room will be read.
And that's at the BBC?
That's at the BBC.
Okay.
That's called the writer's room. If it's more of an idea for a programme, then you could potentially find production companies that make something of a similar type and approach them.
And that just runs on the titles at the end of the show, doesn't it?
Yeah, or you can go on the webs. Yeah, if you find out the production company that's made, say, a game show, and you've got a game show idea, you could contact them and go on their website. Some companies don't take ideas. They don't want to, and they make that very clear generally on their website. It might be somebody you've met at some networking event. We're always saying you've got to go to networking events, and you might meet someone there who's looking for ideas for documentary or for just general films or a game show or something. You also might sort of try and put it out there on YouTube, your idea, or make some sort of small pilot or trailer and put it on YouTube for someone to find.
Right.
So,
are there any dangers of people just pinching your ideas if you do that? If you send something to a production company, do they just like switch a few bits around and pinch it? Or
it's always a possibility. The only guarantee you've got is if you put it in the post. And so you've got an actual date you sent it. Or you can, to copyright an idea, you can put it in the post and post it to yourself, as well as post it to someone else. And then you've got an absolute date on that envelope. That is the simplest way to copyright something.
Just get a date stamp.
Date
do
stamp,
they do that
so it's
automatically
posted yourself.
these days when you
when you
send a
post
letter?
something? So
it will have a date stamp.
It will have a date stamp on
I
it.
sent the last time I got a letter.
I know it's an old-fashioned idea,
It
but
is.
I do
but
think
actually, it's a great idea, you know, for not only sort of sending stuff through, because emails are just so easy to delete.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
So, okay, so there's the
writer's room.
Identifying the production companies that already do similar stuff.
That's right. Seeing if they're interested in having ideas. Some production company, sometimes if you go on the commissioning websites of ITV or BBC, they've all got advice on how you can send things in. Often it's better if you are coming from a production company, but I still think you can find the producer on the end of a show that's at the BBC, and if you've got a great idea, you could send them something, again, send it in the post, send it back to yourself so you've got it, and maybe, just maybe, I think that is how, now I can't remember what I'm saying, the programme that happened, it was a sitcom that happened.
It was just sent in.
In-Betweeners. In-Betweeners.
Really?
That's how that all began, with a relationship that came with a university student and a producer. So it's about making contacts and finding people to send it to.
Yeah, but we were talking about how the industry may have changed over the years for certainly regional accents and stuff like that. So it's changed as well because of obviously online, the streaming sites, and of course YouTube, which is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. But do you think that television is always going to be around, or are we just going to let it drop and just get onto a totally on-demand, what I want to watch, when I want to watch sort of thing?
Oh, it's tricky. That's a tricky question. Tricky because...
When I say forever, I mean sort of like in the next sort of 50, 100
I mean,
years.
eventually, in many, many years to come, when we're no longer here, it could go. It could go. I think at the moment, even television, you can watch pretty much the programmes that are there on demand. And I think all the broadcasters are having to think, how are we going to keep up with the online side of things? And that's why the BBC's made changes to its iPlayer and how you can view material, and it leaves things up on the iPlayer for longer than it used to. Yeah. I think I would like to hope television will still be there. I think I was having a chat with one of the students today about YouTube, and I think YouTube's great, don't get me wrong, but I think there is this danger with the online, is that there's no restrictions. And while that's a great thing, I think it's a worrying thing in that anyone can put anything up at any time. And I'm interested in how the regulation is going to go with YouTube.
Yeah, because I think I felt it was a great thing initially with, just getting posts from real people about this is happening here, this is happening here. And then over the last sort of 3 years, or even possibly with Trump sort of era,
Absolutely.
It's kind of like this fake news, and it's kind of like, actually anybody can put anything, and it's totally biased, it's totally untrue most of the time.
Yep.
And so where do you... And I think it was you that was saying there were at least, BBC News, ITV News, Sky News, at least there are some regulations. However biased they might be, there are regulations to say you can't actually say something which is blatantly untrue, which YouTube doesn't have.
No, that's how I feel. I mean, what was the thing recently is that Instagrammers, although they are putting forward products, they've now got to say whether they've been paid to market those products now, because it's all very well just doing videos about products, but are they doing it because they're paid, or are they doing it because they genuinely love the product?
Yeah.
And I think they've said there has to be a distinction, so people have to know whether they've been paid to promote it or not. Yeah. So there's little tweaks like that, I think, make it a bit better.
What do you think is the main sort of differences then between somebody who's a presenter on, say, YouTube or Instagram, when they call them influencers, don't they, or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
And then a traditional TV presenter, maybe the One Show or whatever. What are the main differences? And are there skills that cross over? I think there probably is, but...
I think there is... Yes, I think the skills that cross over. I guess if you're presenting a television programme, you're working with quite a big team, you've got script writers potentially, you've got researchers, and so you've got a whole team of people sort of almost giving you what to say and how to do it, and a producer wanting it a certain way. I couldn't be wrong, but I guess if you're a YouTuber, it's down to you.
Yeah.
You might have a small team if you're doing well, but on the whole, you choose your content, you get to say exactly what you want and how you say it. I think that's quite a lonely way to be. I quite like working as a team, so to just be you sort of presenting on my own on a tube, and I know that, well, there's various reports about it, that sometimes people find it such a pressure to do content that it's almost too much to keep having to come up with content. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think you get away with a lot more as a YouTuber in general. Like there are techniques you use as on a TV. Yeah. Maybe even things like auto cue, talk back, working to time, all those things that you're doing a live show.
You've no time pressure. You've no time pressure. You've no slot to fill, have you?
Yeah. So it's almost like. As long as you can let your personality come through, you don't have to have that technical, professional side. I'm not saying that these aren't professionals, because some of them are making far more money than TV presenters. But there is an aspect of television which is very traditional, but very technical, and it just won't work if you get it wrong when you're working to time, or whether you've got multi-cameras and you have to use. So there is a skill to learn as a TV presenter that you might not need as a blogger. Is it blogger, vlogger?
Vlog.
I'm up to date with all of
Vlog is
that.
writing. A vlog is video, I think.
Video. Like this is a vlog cast. 'Cause we
Well,
got a
like,
video
yeah.
cast.
It's like they say with a podcast, if you're doing radio, you have to fit a slot on a channel that you have to do, whereas a podcast is quite a freeing thing,
Yeah.
say on BBC Sounds, because you don't have to fit to a length, and that's quite nice.
Yeah.
Whether TV will ever free itself up, so they don't have a lot of television slots are 30 minutes, an hour, 15 minutes, they sort of fit into categories, whereas I wonder if television will go, well, we're just going to make a programme, you can make it any length you like, and we'll slot it in.
Yeah. Well,
That
who
I
knows?
don't know. That's
I think it would be a shame, actually, because I think the fact that when you're watching TV, you know what you're going to get to a
Yes.
certain extent.
Yeah.
I've got half an hour here and I can watch that. And even if it is on demand,
Yeah.
it's still, in its sort
Yeah.
of little logical, chronological order. And you know it.
Yeah.
But then I'm of that generation.
I
aren't
know, well, me too. But I just like the whole idea. You edit something and you get the best of stuff. I personally don't want to watch lots of videos on YouTube where people, go on forever. But I don't know if you're going on YouTube. Do you watch the whole video, or do you just
Well, this
do you
is
just
it, because
zip into bits of it? And is that
Yeah.
the nice thing about it?
well, the thing is with YouTube, of course, is you get in the wormhole. Have you ever been in the wormhole?
No.
Oh yeah, no. What happens in YouTube is you go on and you sort of think, right, I want to watch the latest bit of Graham Norton's show or whatever it might be on
Right.
YouTube. But then, of course, down the side, you have got 10 little thumbnails and videos of other things you can watch. So and what happens is YouTube sort of goes, oh, you're interested in this subject, there's a whole load more.
Right.
And so you're watching it, and then, as you say, you might get halfway through and go, oh, what's that one? That looks interesting. So you press that one, and then you watch that for a bit, but then there's a whole new selection of thumbnails down the side,
right.
and you go, oh, that one looks interesting, and you press that, and then you just go down the wormhole, and you
Yeah.
start off watching, I don't know, celebrity interviews on
Yep.
the Graham Norton show, and by the end of the evening, you're watching how to make a wine rack.
So that's how they get you. That's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
they get you.
yeah.
And actually, you don't watch anything whole, presumably. You're just watching lots of bits of everything,
Yeah.
which seems unsatisfying to me.
in a way.
But maybe it isn't. Maybe it's
Yeah. You have a look at YouTube tonight,
Yeah.
you'll find yourself down the wormhole.
down the wormhole. Yeah. No,
So,
brilliant.
good. And, okay then, so people who, we were talking earlier on the ways of getting your ideas out there and stuff like that, but if you're still traditionally wanting to work as a presenter, not perhaps for YouTube, but for television, we might have already mentioned that traditionally it was journalism route
Yes,
to get in,
yes.
so degree in journalism,
Yeah.
then you might get your first job on a bit of print and paper, perhaps
Yeah.
local paper, local radio, and then
Yeah.
build up to that. But there's a lot of ways of getting into television now as a presenter, as a performer, having that knowledge, being an expert.
Yeah.
What do you think of the people who just think, right, I just need to go out there and just live my life in front of the camera? I don't necessarily have a talent.
Right.
Maybe it's Love Island.
Right.
Nothing wrong with Love Island, my solicitor has told me to say. But do you know what I mean? It's like what these people don't necessarily, apart from maybe looking nice and apart from not having any sort of any limit on what they will do in front of the camera. Is that a talent? Is that where we're going?
It's a difficult one. It's another difficult one. Just consult my lawyer. No, I think, all of these programmes, like Love Island or any reality show, does have quite a hard audition process, because I think there's quite a lot of people, strangely, that want to be on them. So there is an audition process, even for those programmes. So I guess you've had to go through some kind of selection. It isn't just, I'll sell my soul. It's a tough one. Some people have come out. Let's take Gogglebox. Is it Scarlett?
Yep.
I really liked Scarlett
Yeah,
on,
I do.
on Gogglebox, and I loved it when she started to do presenting, and she does it quite well. So I see there's it's worked out quite well. It was a good thing to do.
It can be a route into the industry now.
It can be a route into the industry now, and I think that's why those programmes are so popular.
Would you ever do one?
Depends what it was.
Do you know what? me and my other half, what we are going to apply for, Hunted.
Oh, now that is one you see I really like, and I love those because that's quite a tough challenge to do.
Yep.
It's a very tough challenge to do. So,
do you reckon we could escape
so I think you should. Well, there are rules and restrictions they don't tell you about that. Like you have to visit somebody.
Yeah.
But I think you should go for it.
Yep.
Definitely go for it.
You see, I think with Hunted, you do all those rules and regulation in the first hour, and then just go off the radar.
Then you just have to live in a tent on a hill somewhere and not contact anybody. That's a good one. I mean, those sorts of things. I guess there's different qualities of. But who was the one who just won Love Island because she's climbing Mount Kilimanjaro?
Oh, I don't know.
Danny Dyer's daughter.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she got together with someone on Love Island, and now she's climbing Kilimanjaro for charity for Comic Relief. So, if you choose to go in it that way, go for it. I think is the thing.
So, the other thing we were talking about today was, you have to be really aware and conscious of your social media.
Yes.
So, if you want to be, say, in your area of speciality in children's TV presenting, I think social media is so important that you don't have pictures of you out on a night with pints of lager and doing what's that?
Avoid naked pictures.
Naked pictures. So I best check my my Twitter account. But so that's really important if you do want to be taken,
and I think in a lot of, I mean, for instance, Holly Willoughby, she has to maintain a kind of image.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure every paper in the land would love to find something to sort of pin on people. They love it because I think, no disrespect to newspapers, but they love a bit of, bad news, or they like getting some sensationalism.
Yeah.
And so I just think if you are in a position, as Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield are in those roles, they have to keep their lives fairly together. Otherwise, they'll be, pounced upon. And I think so any presenter, once you're in the public eye in that way, you've got to be careful of what you do and how you come across. I mean, take the latest, Anton Deck. He's coming back, but he's been through a really tough time. And, public are very good at supporting, but they're also very good at turning against you if you do the wrong thing.
Yeah, quite right. So, just finally then, is the whole television industry, the whole creative industry, is it something that you think, go for it, get involved and do it, or do you think, go and get a proper job?
No, get involved and do it, but bear in mind it's like acting or anything, that if you want to get involved, you've got to put your heart and soul into it. There's no sort of half measures, because there are plenty of people who will put their heart and soul into it and they will get there before you. So don't come into it if you've got something you'd rather be doing. Mm-hmm. Go and do that.
Yeah, okay. And where's the BAFTA?
It sits at home on my piano.
It sits at home on your piano?
Yeah. That we don't really play, but it sits there.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well done again. Congratulations. Helen, thank you for coming in on our podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure. As always, we'll see you here at the TV Training Academy again. You're busy for a couple of months, so I think it's going to be June or
something like that.
Somewhere in the summer. We'll look forward to that. Thank you very much. If you would like to get involved in our podcast, ask any questions, leave a comment. If you've got any questions for Helen, I have her email address.
Don't give it away.
But if you've got any questions, then you can pop them below, and don't forget you can go to our website where you can contact me by email. All the social media icons are on the website. The website is tvtrainingacademy.com. I'll see you next time.